Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It is me, your host, Chef James MacInnis, as I work on my deep dive into Indian food. Today we are here with your Food Lab's butter chicken recipe. How to make butter chicken at home. Chicken makhni. Chef Sanjyot, Keer. Haven't done a butter chicken yet. That is one of the most popular Indian dishes in North America. Everybody here knows what butter chicken is, at least what we think butter chicken is. So how about I watch this and see if how this aligns with what I have preconceived notions on butter chicken. If you're new here, my name is Chef James, and what I like to do is watch videos that show food being cooked. I like to react to them, throw my own 2 cents in, and every once in a while I take some of my popular reaction videos, put their titles in a poll, and I let you vote which one you actually want to see me cook.
What's up, guys? Sanjyot Keer.
Okay, I'm going to cut him off just as he starts his intro there. That looked really good. I love the color of that gravy and the contrast with the curd, yogurt, whatever that cream was around it. Looked really good. Very appetizing.
स्टाइल बटर चिकन रेसिपी आज फाइनली बना रहा हूँ मैं वाईएफएल पर। बटर चिकन मेरी फेवरेट रेसिपी है और मुझे बटर चिकन के कई सारे वेरिएशंस आते हैं बनाने के लिए। मैंने ट्राई भी किए हुए हैं कई अलग अलग जगहों पर ये जो रेसिपी है सबसे फेवरेट रेसिपी है मेरी। मेरे फ्रेंड्स, फैमिली, किसी को भी बटर चिकन खाना होता है तो मैं ये वाली रेसिपी स्पेशली बनाता हूँ एंड इट इज़ सुपर ईजी टू डू और बहुत ही माइंड ब्लोइंग और डिलिशियस बनती है। सो ड्यूरिंग दिस रेसिपी आई एम गोइंग टू टेल यू अ लॉट ऑफ टिप्स एंड ट्रिक्स। So let's cook up some Sanjyot Keer style delicious butter chicken.
Right off the bat, he's calling it Chef Sanjyot Keer style. So I like when people do that. I know that's one of the big criticisms Jamie Oliver gets is he'll just say, for example, if he was doing this, he would say, I'm making butter chicken. And then Uncle Roger would watch it. And then he would rip Jamie a new hole for doing whatever he wanted and calling it butter chicken. Here, he's already preferenced, it's my style. And I like that because maybe it's not going to be the most authentic butter chicken, but it's probably going to be pretty close. And he's already acknowledging that, he's found a few tweaks that he likes. And that's the important part about food is we are always changing, like our tastes change as we age and mature. And maybe the stuff I like now isn't the stuff I liked 10 years ago. And it's okay to change and adapt recipes. Guys, in case you're wondering why it's so quiet right now, he's not speaking during this, and I have it muted because there is music playing in the background, and I don't want to get this hit a copyright flag, so it's just muted while it's got background music.
तो बटर चिकन के लिए तंदूरी चिकन या टिक्का उसकी मैरिनेशन सुपर क्विकली रेडी हो चुकी है। मैंने यहाँ पर चिकन ब्रेस्ट का इस्तेमाल किया है। आप थाइज यूज कर सकते हो, दोनों यूज कर सकते हो। बहुत सारे लोगों को चिकन विद बोन पसंद आता है। सो इफ यू आर यूजिंग दैट, चिकन में अच्छे से इंसिजन्स बनाइए। मैरिनेशन सेम रहेगा, नो चेंज इन दैट। आई एम गोइंग टू मैरिनेट दिस फॉर हाफ एन आवर टू एन आवर। आपके पास अगर ज्यादा टाइम है, ओवरनाइट 8 to 10 hours, तो वो करो जरूर मैरिनेट ज्यादा टाइम।
Yeah, like he's saying, he's basically saying that the minimum you want half an hour, but realistically 8 to 12 hours. Get your chicken marinated the day before. And what we'll do a lot here is if you have to do a fast marinade is we will slit chicken, so that way the marinade has a chance to get on the inside. He's talking about doing that on if you're using bone-on chicken. I'm thinking that'll help his smoking process get to the get to the center faster. He's also talking about tandoori chicken, and I know that's not necessarily something everybody can do at home. So I mean, I don't have a tandoori oven.
जूसी टेंडर और फ्लेवरफुल बनेगा. मैंने इसी स्टेज पर मैरिनेशन के स्टेज पर ही स्मोक कर दिया चिकन को. उसका रीजन ये है कि मुझे बटर चिकन में वो तंदूरी चिकन वाला फील चाहिए होता है, तो मैं पहले ही स्मोक कर देता हूं. उससे सटल फ्लेवर आता है स्मोक का बटर चिकन में, और वो ओवर पावर नहीं करता है. सेकेंड ऑप्शन है कि आपको थोड़ा ज्यादा फ्लेवर चाहिए तो आप ग्रिल करके चिकन को स्मोक कीजिए, तो थोड़ा ज्यादा फ्लेवर आएगा. और आपके पास थर्ड ऑप्शन भी है कि बटर चिकन जब भी पूरा रेडी हो जाए तभी उसको स्मोक करिए, तो ज्यादा स्मोक का फ्लेवर आता है. द चॉइस इज योर्स. आई गो विद द फर्स्ट वर्जन एंड ट्राई डूइंग दैट.
So this video is about 4 years old, and I know since then, and these have become a lot more common, at least here, are like these smoke guns. So it's got a tube and a trigger, and basically you put the fuel in it, you burn it, the smoke goes through a hose, and you can smoke inject things like that. They've become a lot more popular over the last 2-3 years, especially bartenders using them to smoke cocktails. So that is something that you could do at home too if you don't have like if you wanted like an all-purpose kind of small smoking apparatus where you could play around with smoked drinks too. That'd be something cool to look at.
इट टर्न्स आउट टू बी सुपर डिलिशियस. तो जब तक चिकन मैरिनेट करने के लिए रखा है, मैं फटाफट मखनी सॉस का प्रेपरेशन कर लेता हूँ.
Wow, he threw a lot of stuff in that pot to make this portion of the recipe, and it looks like it's all gonna go well together. A couple things I missed the names of during the top there as they were scrolling past. I do have a question from earlier though. At the very beginning, when he used the mustard oil before he smoked the spices at the beginning, I thought it was common practice to heat the mustard oil up until it smokes. I didn't see him do that. Can somebody explain to me why he might not have done that? Put that down below, please. I don't know. It just came to me now.
मखनी सॉस का फर्स्ट स्टेज कंप्लीट हो चुका है. अभी इसको ठंडा करके पीसना है. मुझे जब भी जल्दी होती है मैं 3-4 क्यूब आइस के डाल के पीस लेता हूं, पर आप कोशिश करिए अवॉइड करने के लिए. इससे दो चीजें होंगी. एक तो आपका मिक्सर बचा रहेगा अगर ठंडा करके पीसोगे तो, और दूसरा जब भी कोई गर्म चीज को पीसो तो उसका कलर थोड़ा सा उड़ जाता है. तो अगर आप ठंडा करके पीसोगे तो कलर बहुत अच्छा आएगा मखनी सॉस का. मेरे मखनी सॉस के वर्जन में मैं खड़े मसाले ज्यादा यूज नहीं करता हूं. सिर्फ हरी इलायची और जीरा डालता हूँ. उसका रीजन ये है कि लास्ट में मैं इसमें फ्रेश गरम मसाले की एक चुटकी डालता हूँ जिससे बहुत अच्छा फ्लेवर आता है. और दूसरा ये होता है कि मैं इसमें होल कश्मीरी रेड चिलीज डालता हूँ. उससे क्या होता है, कलर बहुत अच्छा आता है, क्योंकि मैं आर्टिफिशियल कलर नहीं यूज करता हूँ मखनी ग्रेवी में, तो कलर बहुत अच्छा आता है और उतनी स्पाइसीनेस भी नहीं बढ़ता मखनी सॉस का. तो जरूर यूज कीजिए होल कश्मीरी रेड चिलीज अगर मेरा वाला वर्जन बना रहे हो तो. जब तक ये मिक्सचर अभी ठंडा हो रहा है तब तक मैं
I like how he's explaining, like, I'm not using artificial color. We're using the Kashmiri chilies. We're going to use the whole chilies here if you do it this way, and that's going to give it that nice color. I like that explanation.
फिल कर लेता हूँ चिकन को. तो चिकन को तो ग्रिल करके श्रेड कर लिया है मैंने फटाफट, एंड द चिकन बाय इट सेल्फ इज टेस्टिंग सो डिलिशियस. मैंने तवे पर ही ग्रिल किया है चिकन को, लेकिन पर्सनली मैं ओवन में बनाता हूँ जब भी बटर चिकन बनाता हूँ. 250 डिग्री पे 8-9 मिनट में, 7-8 मिनट में फटाफट ग्रिल हो जाता है परफेक्टली एकदम. और प्रोसेस बहुत क्विक हो जाता है. तो अगर आपके पास ओवन है तो ज़रूर इस्तेमाल करो, नहीं है तो तवे पर तो बना ही सकते हो, बहुत अच्छा बनता है ऐसे भी. मखनी के जो इंग्रेडिएंट्स हमने कुक किए थे वो अभी ठंडे हो चुके हैं, तो इनको अभी फटाफट पीस लेते हैं अच्छे से. और फिर फाइनल जो स्टेज है बटर चिकन को साथ में असेंबली करने का और कुक करने का, वो बहुत ईजी प्रोसीजर है. फटाफट बटर चिकन रेडी हो जाएगा.
So when he was talking earlier about cooling the sauce down before you grind it up, and he's using a food processor or a blender here. So with the color loss, if you do it hot and adding a tip of throwing some ice cubes in there, the other thing you could do is you can take a shallow pan like a lasagna dish, and you could pour your sauce in that and stick it in the fridge in that shallow pan. I'd let it sit on the counter maybe for. So the problem with sticking hot stuff in your fridge, the reason why it's advised against it from a health board, like a safe food handler point of view, is that you increase the overall temperature in the fridge. So although your fridge may be operating at 3 or 4 degrees, when you put in that much warm volume, you raise the local temperature around it while the fridge works on combating that and bringing the temp back down. So that's why they usually say don't put hot stuff in your fridge. So, but yeah, if you took it and put it in 'cause, like if you put a pot in your fridge, it's still gonna be hot in the center for a while. But in restaurants, we're trained to transfer things into shallow pans when we put them in the fridge, so they cool off rapidly. Straining it, is that something you always do, or is that like I'm going to go out on a limb and imagine that there are places where you don't strain it and you have more of a rustic feel, and that there are, maybe I would suggest in the cities maybe it gets strained for refinement. Personally, I like my stuff a little chunky. If I were serving at home, I'd probably wouldn't strain it, but that's what I wouldn't do. That's another thing. So he's adding water to his blender, to wash it out so he can pour it all through the strainer. So I have two thoughts on that. One, you can add all the water you want to it, um, because when you heat it up, you can reduce that water back out of it. But if you go too far and you're doing that too long, you're gonna trash the color. And since he was so diligent in talking about using the proper chilies to get the color, don't use artificial colors, since he was going through all that effort to maintain the proper color, I would be leery about how much water. I would try to use the least amount of water possible while washing down the inside of my blender to get the rest of it out. Just something to be mindful of. I'm sure he knows exactly the right amount of water. Right there, that's something that everybody that likes to cook gets in the habit of doing is tasting your food, and you taste it a lot through the process, so you know how much salt to hit it with, because you don't want to oversalt something. You also don't want to underseason. You want everything to be just right.
दिस इज हाउ यू मेक संजोत कीर स्टाइल बटर चिकन. बहुत ही डिलिशियस बना है और मेरे फ्रेंड्स और फैमिली को ये वाला वर्जन बहुत ज्यादा पसंद है, तो आप भी ट्राई कीजिए अपने घर पे. बट टुडे आई वांट टू थैंक द मैन हु इन्वेंटेड दिस रेसिपी, श्री कुंदन लाल जी, अपने मोती महल रेस्टोरेंट में सालों पहले. व्हाट अ ब्रिलियंट आइडिया. हैट्स ऑफ टू दिस पर्सन जिन्होंने इतनी माइंड ब्लोइंग रेसिपी इन्वेंट की, और उनके आइडिया की वजह से आज पूरे दुनिया भर में लोग बटर चिकन एंजॉय करते हैं, और मेरी भी पर्सनल फेवरेट है. सो दिस इज माय वे ऑफ पेइंग ट्रिब्यूट टू हिम फॉर इन्वेंटिंग दिस ब्यूटिफुल रेसिपी. थैंक यू सो मच सर. प्रिपेयर दिस वर्जन एट योर होम. एंजॉय दिस बटर चिकन. हैव एन
So, I can see a couple, like, I want to say I can see a French influence here with pouring the cream on the end. This is the first Indian video I've seen where they've done that. Usually it's like yogurt or curd that's being used. So I'm definitely going to say I see a bit of a French influence here. Especially, I don't know the history on butter chicken, but like he was just thanking a chef for creating butter chicken and mentioned a recipe. I'm going to assume, and you correct me if I'm wrong, tell me down in the comments below. But from that bit of information, my assumption is that butter chicken is a famous dish now, but was invented in a recipe in a restaurant. And if that is the case, then I can definitely understand why there may be a French influence, like with the cream being drizzled at the end. I like the amount of butter he had. So when he was doing the smoking, it looked like he poured ghee on the coals. So he was smoking the chicken originally with smoked ghee. He's frying with the ghee, and then he's adding butter twice, once before the puree and once after the puree. So there's a lot of butter in here. The only the only recipe I've used for butter chicken actually didn't have much butter in it, but it had a boatload of cashews, like way more than what he used, and it was like a cashew butter chicken, and that was delicious. I love cashews. They are my favorite nut. Overall, I'm pretty impressed. The only disappointment I have to say is I get disappointed when I see people make food like this, and I would love to see him sit down with it and take a couple bites, and tell us what he's experiencing and what the flavor profile of the finished product is. That's what I like to do at the end of my videos, is let you guys know, because sometimes you make stuff that looks good that doesn't taste good, and you need to know. So, anyways, that is that. I did enjoy watching this. He's a very talented chef, and it really shows in his presentation. Well, anyways, for this week, I've been Chef James, you've been you, and thanks for coming to watch.